Welcome to your timeless mythos reading here at Soulfire Mythos Messages. I am so grateful you're here, whether you're returning, welcome back, loves, or even if you're finding me for the first time, you are welcome and you are wanted and completely safe here with me and my guides. I'm Christina. I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine and an intuitive channel. And today's reading moves through three separate parts. First, we explore the myth itself, the story of the archetype who stepped forward for you today. Then we get into the deeper themes that this is stirring and revealing in your life right now. And then finally, your full spread, so you can see what's shifting and how this energy is unfolding for you. The archetype arriving for you today is Nut, the sky mother from the Egyptian pantheon, and she is bringing you the message that you rise above the noise and see what is real. If this video found you, you can trust that something here is meant for you. And please be aware, because it's a collective reading, just take what resonates for you and gently leave the rest. Somebody else needs that part. There's something here for each of us. When something does land, please like the reading to claim the energy. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so future Mythos messages tune even more clearly to your frequency. Now take a deep breath in. And let's step back into the mythos together. Nut wasn't always the sky. She was once a woman whose love was so close, so consuming that she and Geb, the earth, became one single united breath. They clung to each other so tightly that nothing in the world could breathe around them. And this is where so many of us begin, in closeness that feels safe until it suffocates us. Nut's story opens with a truth that most of us really don't want to admit, that sometimes the thing we're holding on to the tightest is the one thing keeping us from growing. The gods saw the world collapsing under Nut and Geb's closeness, so Shu, the god of air, forced himself between them, ripping Nut away, lifting her from everything she thought defined her. One moment she was grounded, the next she was stretched, limbs, heart, identity pulled across the sky. This was her heartbreak. This was her rupture. This was the moment her world split open. Her grief became expanse. Her loss became horizon. And it is here that her medicine speaks most clearly. Understanding often arrives in the same moment we think we are losing everything, because we are finally being stretched far enough to see. Nut didn't become the sky by choice. She became the sky because she was forced into a distance she never thought she could survive. But from that impossible height, she could finally see the whole story, her own, Geb's, the world's. From separation came perspective. From distance came clarity. And from heartbreak came understanding. Every night she swallowed the sun, the world's light, and then every morning she birthed it again. She became a container for darkness and dawn, grief and hope, endings and beginnings. Nut transformed from someone who was too close to see the truth into the vastness that could hold everything. And so she teaches us that understanding is not a mental achievement. It's an expansion, a widening, a breath, a rising into a truth we could never have seen from the ground. Today, Nut is arriving to stretch your perspective, not to break you, love, but to show you the horizon you just couldn't see before. Nut comes when you've been too close to a situation to understand it. When your mind feels tight and stuck, when you've been grasping, gripping hard at clarity, chasing answers, or trying to fix something from inside the storm, she brings us the medicine of altitude. She teaches us that understanding isn't forced. It's revealed when you stop collapsing into fear and rise into perspective. So today she says, step back, breathe, widen, let the truth come into view. Okay, loves, here we are now jumping into our clarification and full spread for you. So with the energy of Newt comes the underlying energy of Hunt. And so Newt, as we discussed, is about shifting our perspective, finding our clarity and seeing from a different height. And here we have a bird of prey, a falcon, some of the greatest hunters that have ever lived, and particularly clear seeing. Their eyesight, we do 20/20. I think they have like 220 or maybe even more than that. The point is they go up high from an extremely high vantage point. They then see, how can I make the dive? How can I go after and receive and get what I want from my world today? And so we're seeing here this invitation from Newt into understanding yourself, your world, your life on an entirely different level. Remembering that first message is that you rise above the noise and see what is real. This is this deeper understanding. And you see with this card, Newt spread across the world. Now, as we get into our clarifying cards, I'm working today with the Light Seers Tarot and the Wild Unknown. These felt correct for Moot's energy, and that's how I choose the decks each day. So 2 cards came out face down, 1 card face up, and we see here the 10 of Swords in reverse. 10 of Swords is about finally leaving a situation behind entirely, right? Like it is anguish, heartbreak, disappointment, but in the reverse. And you see here, standing on a horizon with birds flying overhead. So there's this heartbreak, there's this sense of letting go, but it's also really about new beginnings. Something has to end in order to start something new. We have to, a different way of saying it would be that destruction always precedes creation. So interesting. Our other clarifiers here, we have the King of Pentacles in the reverse and the 6 of Pentacles in the upright. When I consider these cards together in the context of Newt and her invitation to let go of things we've been clinging too tightly to, so that you can get a perspective to move out of maybe some enmeshed dynamics into what really is going to serve you, finding that higher level understanding. With King of Pentacles in the reverse, you've been very comfortable. You've been very comfortable in some situation. It's something you built yourself, right? This could be a relationship. It could be a lifestyle. It could be related to your career. But there's somewhere that you have been so enmeshed that you weren't really able to see and fully acknowledge that this dynamic is actually not serving me at all. Something about this really doesn't feel good to me. Something about this is maybe causing ripple effects outward that don't match my intentions in this life. And so here is this 10 of Swords in the reverse, this invitation to release and let go of that way of thinking, that way of seeing things, to move toward a new horizon, to let go of your comfort. Comfort is, wow, it's almost a form of constant mini death, isn't it? We all want comfort occasionally. As a species, we're sort of driven to move toward it because that feels like safety. But the reality is, if you stay in your comfort zone all the time, you are never stretching. You are never growing. And moving toward your highest potential requires being uncomfortable. One of the best things you can possibly do for yourself in the long run is to get very comfortable with discomfort. This is one of the reasons why I train jiu-jitsu. It is an extremely uncomfortable sport, and it is all about learning to tolerate and manage and be present inside discomfort while waiting for the moment that you can marshal your forces and make a change. So how can you release your attachment to discomfort? How can you see the new horizon and potential that comes with 6 of Pentacles, with interacting with the generosity of the world of spirit, of the people around you, the relationships that are accessible to you? How can you see that things aren't done? Your story isn't over. Sometimes when we've gotten to this king level, like we've accomplished a huge goal, that we set out for ourselves, especially after a major rupture, a major breach, which we see happened in your world, like did for Newt. It took a major rupture for her to really see that she had been keeping herself so small and so enmeshed and entangled in a dynamic that did not serve her or the world. So how can you allow yourself to see, to really feel that, yes, you created this for yourself. After the worst happened, you built for yourself a sense of stability, a sense of equilibrium, a sense that I have my true north, I have my compass. And yet it hasn't been working for you, love. Something about it, I'm sure parts of it absolutely do, but something about it really isn't working. And so there's this invitation into this infinite opportunity with the Six of Pentacles, this giving and receiving, this having generosity and kindness and interactivity again, a reopening, so that you can find that understanding that you're looking for. The thing that's hidden behind all of this from the Moonology deck is to step into your power. It may be, and it's not at all surprising, that one of the ways that you helped yourself create healing after this rupture experience was by making your world a little bit small, by choosing to stay silent in situations where your spirit would encourage you to speak. So how can you take the opportunity to step fully into your power, to allow yourself the actual sovereignty, the actual embodied knowing of your own divinity, of your own true nature? Remember Newt. Her true nature was to be the night sky, not to be right down on earth, held in, constrained. Sure, it felt safe, but the sky isn't built to be down on the earth. The sky isn't made for that. A ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. Ships are built to sail the open, wild sea. So how can you step into and claim your power again? You needed to make yourself safe. There's no judgment here. You needed to feel safe. You needed to feel secure after things were ripped away from you. And yet it's not enough. You are on the hunt for more. And there's a need to release here. So let's see spirit, archetypes, guides, and Newt. I'm curious about this opportunity to step into power. Where is the advice and the opportunity for stepping into greater power, moving beyond this dynamic that really doesn't serve? Okay. So we have the Seven of Pentacles, which came out sideways, which actually felt important. I didn't think up or down was going to be fully correct. We have the Seven of Wands in the upright and the Daughter of Pentacles, or Page of Pentacles, in the upright. So much of this reading is really connecting to earth energy and to your feeling of, can I hold what I've built, while also allowing new opportunity into my life? Can I hold the stability I've built, because it was all ripped away from me at one point, and I don't want to repeat that, and no one could blame you. The Seven of Pentacles energy is very much about the day you sow the seed is not the day you harvest the fruit. It requires patience and maintenance and watering and weeding and pruning for things to blossom into their fullest potential. And when I see it sideways here, especially with these cards that come after, so Seven of Wands in the upright is this energy of, after you've won a difficult battle, after you've, kind of received the adoration for that, and then it's the moment of, can I stand my ground when new challenges come in? Do I want to stand my ground when new challenges come in? Is the juice worth the squeeze? So there's this question here of, has what you've sown, is it actually leading to the outcomes you most want? Have you sown the seeds that your spirit truly wants that you really want to hold that ground and that territory? Or is it possible that you may have, with the very best of intentions, planted some seeds because it was what you already knew? You may have gone after a particular crop, and this is all metaphor, right? But it's a habit or a pattern, something you were looking to grow and create in your life. That it may have been that after everything fell apart, what you naturally did was return to what you already knew. You naturally returned to, it may have been a career after a big loss. It may have been a home. It may have been a way of structuring and organizing your relationships, your family situation. But there's really a question here of what if what you sowed was really what you want to harvest. It's not a no necessarily, but it's also not entirely a yes here. It's in that in-between space. There is some doubt. And there's this invitation with this Daughter of Pentacles energy to, you see this beautiful rainbow and this deer energy. She's ready to move. She belongs in the forest. She's in her natural environment. And she has this rainbow of protection. Remember, the rainbow is actually a protective symbol. It's a symbol of promise and hope and safety. And she is ready to take movement once she knows which direction is right for her. So how can we see this? There's a pause that's been happening because, again, the gift of newt. We had moot last week. The gift of newt is this altitude, right? It's the stepping back to get clarity about what I'm looking at. So where in this altitude of the falcon, of newt, of being stretched beyond what you would have chosen yourself, can you find the direction that is actually where you most want to plant? And it's not necessarily that what you've done isn't serving you, but there is a slight shift, a slight change in perspective or approach that what this is indicating would genuinely feel much more aligned with what brings you the deepest satisfaction of your soul. And I've been through this process myself so many times. It's actually the reason I've started doing this channeling for you, that I'm showing up here every day for you, because I realized that with the many wonderful things I'm doing in my life, and don't get me wrong, I love my work. I love my clinical work. I love my academic work. I love teaching. I love helping people. Everything about that brings me joy. But there is a higher calling that my soul needed. I had sown some seeds, and it wasn't quite there yet. There was something missing, and it was this. It was sharing this with you on a wider level, the ways that we can show up inside our own stories and find our healing after the worst has happened. So where is there just this small shift or small addition in what you've already rebuilt that would bring you so much more joy and peace were you to embrace it fully? We're going to get one more card from the universe for a final message to round out this archetype reading from the mythos for today. I really think this is such beautiful energy. This knowing that what you've created, it's not a loss. It's not a waste. You've made a foundation that you can build. You know, it's like you poured the concrete foundation for this house, and then you realized that the floor plan wasn't quite to your liking. You can still change it. The foundation is strong. Everything doesn't have to be exactly the way that it was designed originally. You can change it and star, the energy of wonder. Star card is about the light that comes after the darkest moment. It's about allowing ourselves to feel the deepest inspiration and longing of our spirit and move toward it with wonder, not with obligation, not with heaviness, but with the actual wonder. My spirit came here for this. I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to pursue what I actually want the most, what I get excited about, the things I would do for free that I probably am doing for free. I'm allowed? Yes, you are. Yes, you are allowed. even inside your other obligations and the people you need to take care of and all of these things in life. You are allowed, you are encouraged, you are invited. In fact, I am going to excoriate you, to encourage you so deeply to move toward your sense of wonder. Your spirit didn't come here to resign you to drudgery and suffering endlessly. There's a part of that, there's an aspect of that that happens in all of our lives. Everyday life is a real thing, right? We all have to pay bills. We all have to do the laundry and the never-ending cascade of dishes that need washed. Oh my gosh. But sore point for me this week. But where are you allowing yourself to pursue your wonder? Do you remember when you were young? Do you remember how exciting it was? Just to dream, just to imagine. You weren't in the habit of telling yourself no yet. The worst of your past does not predict the best of your future. You have the opportunity to follow your wonder, to follow this star, this light that comes out after the worst. You have built something solid for yourself. It's not all the way there yet. How could it have been? How could you have had the perspective that you needed right after the worst happened, right after everything fell apart? You couldn't. Your job in that moment was to gather the pieces of your life back together and find how to get solid ground. Well, you're there, love. You have some solid ground now. And as you choose how to move into the future, the question in front of you is, will I allow myself to pursue my wonder so that my soul reaches my fullest expression in this lifetime for myself, for the people I love, and for all of us together? Now, if you'd like to receive deeper energetic transmission from today's archetype, I've channeled a message for you from Newt. It's linked for you in the description box below. Whenever you're ready, go listen to it. Let it meet you where you are, okay? And thank you so much for being here, love. Thank you for showing up for your own story with courage and a wide open heart. And until next time, be gentle with yourself, okay?